There's something no one really prepares you for. Not the gray hairs, not the laugh lines, not even the birthdays that sneak up faster each year. It's the moment you realize you're no longer being seen. You walk into a room, you smile, you speak, you've lived a full life. Yet somehow, it's as if you faded into the background. Not because you've lost yourself, but because the world quietly decided you should. They see your age, but not your energy. They see years, but not your story. And after a while, you start to dress smaller, move softer, try not to take up too much space. But let me tell you this, that story isn't over. And neither is your presence, because presence isn't about youth, it's about intention. And one of the most powerful ways to reclaim it is with color. Color has a voice. It speaks before you do. It draws the eye. It changes how others perceive you and how you see yourself. So today, we're not talking about trends. We're not chasing anyone's approval. We're choosing 5 colors, unexpected, elegant, and psychologically powerful, to help you feel visible again, not for who you used to be, but for who you are now, bold, beautiful, and still very much here. Let me take you back to a moment. Maybe you've lived it, you're at a dinner party, there's chatter, music, the clinking of wine glasses, everyone's dressed in black, navy, beige, safe colors, polite colors. And then a woman walks in. She's not louder, she's not younger, but she's wearing a deep, elegant blue, not royal, not electric, sapphire. Heads turn, people pause. Not because she's flashy, but because she's clear. Sapphire blue isn't a color that shouts. It doesn't need to. It speaks of quiet confidence, of dignity, of a woman who knows herself and isn't afraid to be seen. Psychologically, sapphire blue is linked to trust, wisdom, and calm authority. It's the color of emotional intelligence, of deep listening, of presence. According to research from the University of British Columbia, deeper blue tones increase perceptions of competence, dependability, and calm. These are qualities we earn with age. Qualities that men, without even realizing, gravitate toward. And as we get older, something interesting happens. Our energy softens. Our skin tone changes. Our hair turns to silver, white, or salt and pepper. And sapphire blue, it embraces all of it. It doesn't fight age. It honors it. Worn near the face, it makes the eyes brighter. It softens fine lines. It lifts the whole look without a drop of makeup. And more than anything, it lets your presence shine through, not the outfit. You. That's the magic of this color. It doesn't compete with you. It complements you. It amplifies your quiet power. Imagine it in a silk blouse, a tailored blazer, a soft cashmere scarf, or even in the frame of your glasses. Just that touch. And everything changes. It's also incredibly versatile. Pair it with silver for a cool, sophisticated palette, with cream for softness, or with camel for understated richness. You don't need to dress in sapphire head to toe. Just one thoughtful piece can change the tone of your entire outfit, and the room's reaction to it. Because here's the truth. After 60, you don't need to be louder. You don't need to chase trends. You just need to wear what reflects your depth. And sapphire blue? That's depth in color form. It says, I've lived. I've learned. I know who I am. And when you wear it, people feel that, even if they can't explain why. They see you, not for what you used to be, but for what you are now. Grounded, graceful, unapologetically present. So next time you reach for something neutral, ask yourself, do I want to blend in or be remembered? Because sometimes the most unforgettable woman in the room is the one in sapphire blue. Let's shift the tone from clarity to grounding, from being seen to being felt. There's a kind of woman who doesn't enter a room to impress. She doesn't perform. She doesn't compete. She simply is. You sense her before you see her. There's a calm to her presence, a softness that's also unshakable. And often, she's wearing olive green. This is not a color that demands attention. It doesn't sparkle. It doesn't shine. But somehow people lean in, especially men. Olive green carries the energy of the earth. It's the color of resilience, of growth, of quiet sensuality. It's strong, but never sharp, warm, but never loud. And it flatters aging skin in a way bright colors rarely do. While neons clash and pastels wash us out, olive green adds depth, dimension, warmth. Especially if you have golden or neutral undertones, olive green doesn't sit on top of your skin. It becomes part of you, like sunlight through trees, like something lived in, trusted. Psychologically, olive green evokes wisdom and approachability. It makes people feel safe, comfortable, drawn to you, without knowing why. That's the power of a grounded woman. She doesn't try to captivate, she just is captivating. And for men, this shade carries subtle, even primal associations. It reminds them of strength in nature, of safety and warmth, of sensuality that's earned, not performed. It says, I've seen life, I've been through storms, and I carry it all with grace. You don't have to say those words. Olive green says them for you. Imagine it in a soft knit sweater, a wrap dress, a utilitarian jacket, paired with bronze earrings or a simple gold necklace. It works beautifully with other earthy tones, camel, cream, rust, or even deep navy, if you want contrast with elegance. Olive is especially magical in autumn and spring, the seasons of transformation, when nature is either letting go or beginning again, just like us. In this season of life, we're not standing still, we're shifting, rooted, evolving, and olive green mirrors that beautifully. It doesn't try to look young, it honors where we are now and makes it glow. So often we're told to tone things down as we age, to shrink, to play it safe. But olive green says the opposite. It says you don't need to shine to stand out. You don't need permission to feel beautiful. You are enough just as you are. There's a quiet power in that, one that lingers, one that lasts, long after the room has gone quiet again. So next time you feel overlooked, reach for something rich, warm, rooted. Reach for olive green, and let the world come to you. Let's bring some warmth in, not loud, not bright, but bold, in the most grounded, golden way. You've probably heard it before. Yellow isn't your color. Maybe it washed you out. Maybe it felt too playful, too young. Maybe it belonged to someone else. But they were talking about the wrong yellow. They didn't know about deep mustard. Deep mustard isn't sunshine. It isn't lemon or pastel. It's mature, magnetic. A golden hue that whispers, yes, I'm still here, and I'm not afraid to be seen. This color is a psychological disruptor. It tells the eye to stop, to pay attention, to stay a little longer. It's rich, like amber, bold, like ochre, but softened by age and wisdom, just like you. Color psychology tells us that golden tones trigger feelings of comfort, creativity, and vitality. They remind us of warmth, safety, and sunlight. And that matters, especially now, because after 60, your skin may lose some of its natural radiance, but deep mustard brings it back. It creates a glow, not the glittery kind, but the kind that feels like a memory. Golden light on your cheek, the way someone looked at you once and never forgot. On silver or salt and pepper hair, deep mustard is magic. It doesn't clash, it doesn't overpower, it lifts, it balances, it makes your face the focal point, not the fabric. And here's the secret. Very few older women wear it, which is exactly why it's powerful. In a world of black and beige, mustard stands out, not for being young, but for being alive. It's the color of a woman with fire in her soul, the kind of fire that's been tended for years, not burning to prove, but glowing to remember. It tells the world, I've lived, I've loved, and I still have light in me. Deep mustard is stunning in a blouse under a blazer, a scarf wrapped at the neckline, even a handbag, structured, intentional. It pairs beautifully with charcoal gray, with forest green, with burgundy. For a look that says, grown up but fearless. And jewelry, go with brass, go with textured gold. Let it echo the richness of the tone. This isn't about looking younger, it's about looking awake, engaged, vibrant in the way only life experience can make you. There's something deeply attractive about that. Men may not know why they notice it, but they do. Because deep mustard triggers more than admiration. It triggers curiosity, a quiet sense of wonder. Who is she? What has she seen? What does she know that I don't? You don't have to answer. Let the colors speak. So if you've been playing it safe, if you've stayed too long in navy and black, try something new, but ancient. Try deep mustard. And remind the world that warmth isn't something we grow out of. It's something we grow into. There's a moment in life when you stop dressing to be noticed and start dressing to be remembered. That's when plum wine becomes more than just a color. It becomes a signature. It's not loud, not trendy, not trying too hard. It's layered, complex, a little mysterious, like you. Plum wine lives somewhere between deep burgundy and twilight purple. Rich, velvety, elegant. It doesn't sparkle. It glows. When a woman over 60 wears this color, she isn't trying to reclaim youth. She's expressing depth. She's dressing for who she is now, not who she was. And that's what makes this color magnetic. Color psychology links plum shades to intuition, sensuality, and wisdom. It carries the energy of emotional intelligence, of someone who doesn't need to fill silence because her presence is already full. It's the color of a woman who's lived many lives in one. A woman who's known love, known loss, learned to forgive herself, learned to trust again. And maybe, finally, started to feel at home in her own skin. That kind of woman doesn't need bright colors to be seen. She just needs plum wine. Men may not realize why they're drawn to it, but they are, because this color suggests something deeper, a story, a moment, a softness that still carries strength. On silver hair, plum wine looks regal. On cool undertones, it feels warm. It brings out clarity in the eyes, blue, green, hazel, and adds warmth to the face without the need for makeup. It doesn't hide age, it honors it. Wear it in a silky wrap blouse, a velvet jacket on a fall evening, a flowing dress that brushes the floor as you walk into a room without apology. Accessories in plum wine are just as powerful. A scarf draped over the shoulder, a handbag that says, "I'm not trying, I just know." Even lipstick in this tone gives an instant sense of authority without force. Pair it with cream for softness, with black for elegance, with navy for quiet sophistication. Even camel or stone gray, to create a look that whispers, not shouts, "I've arrived." And here's what makes this color timeless. It holds emotion. It reminds people of red wine shared over long conversation, of autumn skies before night falls, of stories told in lowered voices, the kind that stay with you. Wearing plum wine is like holding a secret, but choosing to reveal just enough to intrigue. There's romance in that, and also restraint. Because true confidence isn't loud, it's composed, grounded, rooted in who you've become. This isn't the red of flirtation. This is the red of reflection, the richness that comes not from rebellion, but from resolution. Plum wine is what happens when a woman knows her worth, and no longer needs permission to express it. So if you've spent years blending in, wearing safe colors, fitting into others' expectations, let this color mark the shift, a shift toward deeper presence, toward richer emotion, toward sensuality that isn't performed, but lived, because the woman who wears plum wine isn't asking to be seen. She's simply allowing herself to be visible, on her own terms. No sparkle, no flash, just grace, wisdom, and the kind of power that stays with you long after she's walked away. Some colors speak, some colors sing. But stone gray is a color that listens. It doesn't rush in to be admired. It waits. It holds. It watches. And in a world that's constantly pushing you to stand out, there's something deeply powerful about a color that doesn't ask for attention, but receives it anyway. Stone gray isn't flashy. It isn't bold. But it's not bland. Not even close. It's rich with subtle tones. Soft ash, smoky blue, silvery undertones that shift with the light. It carries layers, much like the woman who wears it. After 60, you've lived enough to know. You don't need to prove anything, not with what you wear, not with how you move. You've already earned your presence. And stone gray reflects that perfectly. It's not neutral, it's intentional. It's what you wear when you want your thoughts to take center stage, not your outfit. In color psychology, gray symbolizes wisdom, balance, and emotional composure. It sends a subtle but unmistakable message. This woman is calm. She is clear. She is centered. There is no anxiety in stone gray, no desperation to be liked, only assurance, stability, strength, and that kind of energy is magnetic, especially as we age. When worn near the face, stone gray enhances silver hair. It brings a clean contrast to the skin. It softens fine lines. And more importantly, it lets your eyes, your smile, your stillness take the spotlight. While bold colors can sometimes overpower us as we mature, stone gray steps back, so you can step forward. Imagine a long wool coat in this tone. Structured, elegant, a quiet kind of armor. Or a soft cashmere wrap draped over your shoulders at brunch. Relaxed but refined. Warm without trying to be. Stone gray pairs effortlessly with so many palettes. Blush pink for gentle romance. Navy blue for intellectual calm. Mustard for a pop of grounded energy. Ivory for lightness. Even plum wine, if you want contrast and depth. The texture makes all the difference. Wool adds weight and warmth. Linen adds breathability and elegance. Silk turns it from casual to quietly luxurious. And shoes, a pair of gray suede flats or leather ankle boots, maybe even soft sneakers in charcoal. Each one understated, but chosen with care, because that's the beauty of stone gray. It forces you to think about details. It's a color of deliberate living, and isn't that what this stage of life is about? Not rushing, not chasing, but choosing. Carefully, honestly, peacefully. This color doesn't make you look younger. It makes you look more you. Fully formed, present, unapologetically complete. Men notice that. Not in the way they did when you were 25, but in the way that matters now. They see the confidence, the clarity, the woman who no longer needs approval to feel beautiful. Because stone gray says, I've lived through storms. I've built a quiet life. I know what matters to me. And that message, spoken without a word, is incredibly attractive. So when you're standing in front of your closet, reaching for something to reflect who you are today, something effortless, elegant, and quietly powerful, don't overlook the beauty of gray, not because it hides you, but because it lets your truth take center stage. And at this point in your life, that truth is the most beautiful thing you can wear. Now that you've seen them, sapphire blue, olive green, deep mustard, plum wine, stone gray, each color holds a message. Each one reflects a part of you, your strength, your warmth, your mystery, your wisdom, your quiet power. But here's what matters most. These colors don't create you. They reveal you. Because after 60, style isn't about impressing anyone. It's about returning to who you've always been. Before the world told you to shrink, to quiet down, to fade. Every line on your face, every silver strand in your hair, every quiet morning you've lived through. They've earned you the right to be seen. And what you wear, it's not superficial. It's not decoration. It's a language, a visual voice, one that says, I'm still here, and I matter. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You just need to choose what reflects the woman you are today. Not who you were, not who they expected, but you, now, in full bloom. So wear the blue that calms, the green that grounds, the gold that glows, the wine that deepens, the gray that holds, not to be seen by everyone, but to be recognized by the right ones. And most of all, to be seen by yourself again, because the most beautiful thing a woman can wear after 60 is her truth,